Alright, got another 5x5 here to show you. And this one is the new smallest 0.9. So yeah, I finished this like, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks ago together with Timmerman and SoulBanished. So yeah, this is just 5 blocks deep with a 2 high top and 3 high bottom, so really cool. Let me just show you. Close it like this. It's a bit unsynchronized in the closing, but it's really not that bad, I think, and opens like so. Yeah, and of course it's also fully reliable and contained and everything like that. So yeah, anyways, without any further ado, let's just get started. Alright, let's start with the materials and the layout. So in here is everything you will need. Now some notes. These can be any gravity block, as always. These can be solid blocks, except one of those that actually has to be glass, or any other transparent block that is movable. Now you're going to need 3 junk items for some of these containers here. Then 12 pumpkin pies, or really anything to fill 2 of the composter to level 6. And then for this barrel you need 27 unstackable items. I just use shovels because they are cheap. And you can use one of those to put out the campfire as well. Unless you want your door to have smoke for some reason. But yeah, anyways, let's place the layout now. So building area is 5 deep, 13 wide and 12 tall. And our door frame will go right in the center here. We have 3 blocks below. And now just a 5x5 frame. Right, now the side layout is exactly the same as the 1.05, just with faster timings. So you already have our blocks in like so. And then we just place sticky pistons like this. Same thing on this side here. And then in the front we are going to use some normal pistons like so. I guess they could be sticky pistons as well, but normal pistons are cheaper, I guess. Right, so that's the side layout. Now for the bottom, it's slightly modified. We have 3 pistons like this instead of having this. And what this allows us is just, you know, we get more space on the sides here because we don't get blocked by this, right? Now sticky piston here, and this has to be sticky by the way, can't be normal piston. On the left side here, normal piston, block and sticky piston. On the right side, normal piston with a removable block behind. Now for the top, right on top of this, normal piston. Then on top, we are just going to place 5 pistons, like so. 1 extra in the middle, and this is going to be our triple extender with a fold like this. And now on the right corner, just 3 pistons like so. Alright, that's the basic layout. Let's get the sliders in and also the inputs for this side here. So we go up like so, with a sticky piston, piston and gravity block. Same thing here. So yeah, this will just get pushed up to here, so you can power these 2 pistons, actually these 2 pistons when they are here. And then on top we'll just push this in. Same thing here. Right, now for the front sliders, we have 2 normal pistons right next to these here. Fill in your wall with any block you want. I mean, it has to be movable. And then the top ones have to be solid. On the left, 2 observers like this. And on the right, 1 observer, 1 block, and 1 piston. Alright, now on the back. On this right side, if you look from the front, we are going to have a setup like so. And on this other side, setup like this. And this block actually has to be solid, so make sure it is. Fill in your walls here, 1 extra on this side, and then just some return pistons like so. Alright, and while we are at it, we can just add the input line as well, I guess. So let me just grab some blocks here that we're going to need. Observer, I think we need slabs too. And let me grab a lever. Alright, so input block goes right here. Lever on that. 2 sticky pistons, redstone blocks, and then on the left side, block, node block. And now we start our slab staircase like so. We'll go up to this level, so where this normal piston is. And you place an observer, solid block, target block. This should be your top layer here. And then we go down with dust like so. Now on the right side is almost the same, just a little bit different on top. So we have our slab staircase up to this level, so 1 higher than these sides. Observer, block, and now we need a dropper which faces left. And then we just place dust everywhere as well. And yeah, if you turn this on, you should reach power everywhere like this. Right, let's do the sides next up. Okay, so first up we want to power the back pistons here, which you can do with this observer here. And these two blocks are going to take care of the top two pistons, and then target block here, slab of dust, bottom two pistons are done. Alright, next up we need to push in these pistons from here to here by powering these. And we will use some observers for that, but before we do that, let's get in the button slider. So composter with a piston below, sticky piston, sorry, normal piston. And now we grab some pumpkin pies, or really anything, but it just needs to be compostable so we can fill this up to level 6. So as you can see in the bottom right, it says level 6. And that's important for the side setup later, but I'm going to explain that when we get there. Now 2 redstone blocks, glass, another redstone block. Then we place one more glass, and now we need 2 stairs, one like this and one like this. So when this goes up, this changes shape. Now we can have one final redstone block here, and our our return piston here, which we are going to power like this. Now you might be wondering, where do we get the bed from? Because there's no way this has enough bed to power the back pistons here. And yeah, you are right. So what we're going to do is we will keep this extended until 4 game ticks so that this can power from this. And instead we are going to use this sticky piston here to update this so it goes down and we get enough block event delay. And we are going to power it just like this. Alright, but for now let's just block this off. So this can't go up when we update it. And let's place 2 observers like this to power these pistons. And yeah, take care of that piston here. So let's get the thing that keeps it on until 4 game ticks first. So no block with a sticky piston. And now we need some hay and a campfire. And also a shovel. Because this door is a non-smoker. Anyways, hay bay here, campfire here, and observer here. By the way, this actually can't be no block, and use which would use no instrument change, because later on this spot above here will get repowered, so it would just clock endlessly. So it actually has to be a campfire, which is pretty cool. Alright, so that's that though. Now we need the thing that updates it instantly to go up. And that also has to provide the block event delay for this piston here to push this from here to here instantly in the opening. So yeah, let's get that in. It's just basically a huge chain of pistons and redstone blocks. So piston here, sticky piston here, redstone block here. Then one more, and one more like this. And then to update it a little bit faster on the closing, we place an observer here. Alright, so that goes into this, and now we need one more piston redstone block here, and then a normal piston right here. And finally this is going to give the instant upgrade to this here. And yeah, we actually have like more bed than we need, but it doesn't really matter. More doesn't hurt here. So yeah, anyways, now if we get this sand and this, we should see the closing work. So for the top, observer here, pointing out from this dust. And now for this, the bottom is already taken care of by this block here. And for the normal piston, we just place 2 observers from the no block here, block here. And now we update this so it can extend when the sand is here. And for that, we're going to use a sticky piston right here with an observer pointing into the sticky piston. It's going to extend, this powers this spot up like this. Alright, and now this is unblocked. Alright, now I can show you the closing. Like so. And yeah, we also have the 4 game tick chain for the opening, like so. And we also already have the second pulse to push this over, but we need to update the pistons because right now it doesn't work. So yeah, we're going to update them from the slider. So we get the slider in right now as well. So we need a log here, an observer pointing towards these 2 pistons. Then an observer pointing down into a solid block, another log below, and then our return piston right here. And now to update this piston, we are going to use this piston, and to update this one from here, we are just going to use a node block. Alright, so this goes down 4 game ticks. The log arrives here at 6. And since you need to update these at 7 here, we can just place a really convenient leaf right here. Alright, by the way, it's really important we update them from bottom to top and not top to bottom, but I will explain that when we do another part. But yeah, for now, let's just see what's going to happen. We get this. So yeah, now we just need the sliders here to grab blocks from here to here, and then we need the last 2 retractions, and also, you know, the reset pulls for these here. Alright, let's get the sliders though. So for this one, 2 observers like so, and that's already it. Now this will get powered, so it doesn't go down in the closing, which is really cool. We toggle all the sliders. And now for the opening, we just need to push up at 9 game ticks, which will come from sticky piston here. So there's 3, 5, 7, and 9, like so. Alright, now this needs to go up at 4. And for that, we are going to use something like this here. Now, on the closing, this here and this has like different timing, so nothing happens. But on the opening, this turns on at 4, this turns off at 4, but after this has turned on, so it can update this, which is QC from the block, and it goes up. And now at 9, we need to push this down, which we get from this log and leaf here into an observer at 8 block. Alright, that's the sliders done. Like so. Now, how do we get the final retractions here? In the 1.05, we had some observers going back into this input, and then we used some slider here. But yeah, we have a nicer setup here. We are just going to reuse this input line here. And now this is where the comparator here, or composer, comes in. So we are going to place a block here at 8 game ticks, which means this will turn on again at 10, turn off at 12, which is the perfect timing. And we're just going to retract the block again at 15 for the final retraction. And yeah, that's how I get everything. And now this is also where the update chain comes into play, because this dust here will be on by the time the blocks arrive here when they get pushed over. But since they get placed from bottom to top, nothing's going to happen because this gets placed first. And this QCs this piston here, but it doesn't get an update. And then same story here. But if we instead update it from the top to bottom, to get placed, QCs this. Now this gets placed and it would push in. So yeah, that is why we need to update it from this piston here. Yeah, but anyways, let's fill this back in and actually get to wiring this. So we are going to use a piston right here with a log. And what we are going to do is, oh yeah, that's the block, nice, okay. We're going to have a block and a slab here. 2 dust like so. And a tile block here. Right now this is just powered because the tile block is up. And what's going to happen is on the opening, this will turn off, it goes instantly down. And we technically don't need this to retract instantly for the side, but we do need it to retract instantly for the top, because this piston will get updated to turn off. Right, so this input here turns off, and now we'll retract the block from here to here later. And this is why we have the signal strength here as well, because it only reaches up until here, to the side piston, and doesn't affect anything else. So yeah, that's why we need the tile block here for the instant retraction as well. On the other side, we won't need that, we can just have the timings. But anyways, let's get the 8 game tick and 15 game tick timings in. So for the 8 game tick, we are going to place observers like so. So 2 going up from a sticky piston with a block, 1 going in and piston here. This will also take care of this piston to push over here. And now for the 15 game tick pulse, we just extend this again. So this dust turns back on at 6, technically. So we just need to update this at 7, and then we get 9, 11, 13, turns off 15, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is place another leaf here, an observer. So it tracks instantly, which means it's updates at 3, turns on at 5, off at 7, updates this, and then we get the perfect timing here. Right, and now if we unblock this, we should actually have the entire side done except these pistons here. So that's the closing, that's the opening. Alright, and the reset here is really simple. We just place 3-tick repeater with a observer, 2 blocks, and then a repeater here and a piston observer here. And there's the entire right side done. And now we can do the left side, which is mostly the same. Except here we don't need the target block. We can just power it like so. Now we need our slider like this. Our pumpkin pies. Make sure this is level 6 like so. And now on this side, because we don't need this input to go to the top here, we can have a slider that's not as tall as this, so we can just use QC to push it down. So what we're going to have is just 2 redstone blocks, another block, another redstone block, 1 more block, and then again 2 stairs, which we're going to place like this and like this, so when it goes up it redirects. And now we can just have our return piston right here, observer here, QC is this, in our updater piston right here. Alright, now again 2 observers. Instead of the leaf updater, we're just going to use a piston here. And yeah, there's almost the closing done. We just need this here. So for this, we just place an observer right here, and that's it. And for this, it's the same as the other side. So blocks like so. Sticky piston with an observer facing into a sticky piston. And I believe that should be the closing done. Let's see. Well, I mean, if this doesn't get an update, then obviously it doesn't work. Alright, let's block this off for a second. So what we're going to do is just have a sticky piston redstone block, normal piston here. And here we are just going to have a piston and a observer here. Alright, so this is actually earlier than the other side, but we need it for the top to work and also for the side not to break and closing due to some wiring issues. But anyways, it doesn't really matter that much, and now we should actually get the closing here, like so. And also, you know, this part of the opening. Now we just need the 0-tick slider here, the front sliders, and then the retraction, and that's it. Alright. Let's put in the 0-tick slider. So we are going to power it with a observer. And now we need a glass pane to upgrade that observer. So pane here, observer here, and then the slider piston right here with a observer pointing into the pistons here. And we come in, observer facing down, block, another block. This has to be non-solid, by the way. You can make it solid, but then you need a target block here, so just have it non-solid. Return piston, updater, and a node block. Alright, let's move on to these sliders. Now this one needs to go down at 4 game ticks, and we're just going to use a torch right here, an observer. Like so. Again, like on the other side, it just gets blocked on closing. And now to get the 3 game tick, 9 game tick delay here, we place the piston here. And then just 3 observers coming out of that piston, like so. Alright, now the back slider, we're going to do something that's a little bit cooler. We are going to push this away on the closing, like so. Now nothing will happen because the piston can't push it up. In the opening, this retracts, this will update. And then when this gets placed, it notices it's powered from here, will push up. And yeah, that's really useful because we can use it for the bottom as well. And it gives us a perfect timing for the side already, which means we don't need the 9 game tick precise timing here, we can just push it down whenever. So yeah, in this case it will be at 10 game ticks, I think, or 12. So we use a pink terracotta here because this block is used for the top, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, repeater on 6 game ticks, and yeah, it's actually 12 in total, I guess. But yeah, now we should see the sliders working. But before we do that, let's just put in the you know, rest of the pulses. Block this off. Block here. Comparator. Slab with dust. Sticky piston here. Block here. Now this is for the first. Now you might notice this doesn't actually turn off, like it doesn't place at 8 but earlier. But it doesn't matter because the comparator actually turns on exactly at 8, because this goes down at 4, arrives at 6, turns on at 8. So we really only need the precise timing for the final retraction here. And yeah, we just spam 4 more observers like this, and that's it. Alright, now we can unblock this and see. We have the closing and we have the opening, and now all that's left is the reset here. And we're just going to copy paste it from the other side. 3D repeater here, 2 blocks, repeater, piston, and an observer. Alright, and now we have the sides done. Alright, let's do the top next. Okay, so first up we want to power the singles here and the spec piston. So yeah, these 3 share an input, which is this target block. And we're just going to place 2 observers here. Fill in the ceiling here with 2 blocks. I'm just going to use glass so we can see stuff. Obviously anything works except, like, you know, redstone blocks. But anyways, so a block here, observer to dust. Now we are going to power this through this block with this observer here. Just replace this real quick. And to upgrade this, we're going to place a piston here. And then a log on top. Now you might be wondering, wait a second, this does power this piston as well, so it can actually zero tick in the closing. And yeah, that can happen, but it doesn't matter if it does, because we timed the slider in a way so that even if it does get powered, nothing is going to happen, because these observers and these ones here will power at the same time, well, the same game tick. But since these are updated from these blocks here, which happens in a block event phase, these are updated when they are placed in tile entity phase. These will always power before these ones, so the pulse from this will just be completely ignored, so everything is fine. But yeah, this actually gives us another problem here, because this observer powers this block, which receives this, and when this gets placed, it updates this, so the book go down 3 game picks, which is 1 game pick too early. So what we're going to do is we're going to block this from the bottom during the opening with the observer here, block here, and now we need an updater piston for that piston, which is going to be placed right here. Alright, and now this left side is fixed, and now we can finally move on here. So let's wire these 2 pistons for the closing as well. All we're going to use is an observer pulse here. So hopper pointing into the dropper, observer, sealing block, slab with 2 dust, target block, and then a rail as an instant updater here. Right, so we have this right now. It's powers twice, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah, what we want to do is when the piston is here, we want to push out this block, because then we can power that piston to push in like so. So yeah, the closing sequence is actually a little bit different than the old 0.9. But yeah, let's get to that. And as you can see, the side is completely fine because we did those fixes. Anyways, 2 solid blocks, and the other block here doesn't have to be solid, and 3 dust. And now just remove this for a second, and we can place this observer. Then we can replace the remove this piston and replace it, and then we can replace this observer. Alright, so that should be the closing part for these 2 pistons. Next up, we want to actually push that in. So we're going to power that piston here, and we will do this by pushing the entire block from here to here with a sticky piston right here. But this by itself will actually be too early, because this target block also powers a back piston here, so if this arrives too early, this actually can't spit out. So we need to delay this, and the way we're going to do this is having a piston push it into place here, and that will do it for us. Right, now if we check out what's going to happen is this. So the closing here works. These power again, but we are going to fix that. So now all we need to do is we need to grab this over at the correct timing, and then we need to do the stuff here with the fold so it works out. Alright, let's just remove everything here and open the door. Alright, so let's get to the fold part here. So we're going to have a sticky piston with a block comparator here, and now we're going to use the barrel. I will just grab the one that's already filled so I don't need to put in 20 million shovels. Anyways, observer here into a hopper and the one more observer. Yeah, and this does the middle part here. And now all that's left for us to do is yeah, this double extender here. So let's get to that. First up, we need to put an item into the dropper here and place a comparator on top of this piston here facing down. So what this is going to do is it will just keep this back piston on for 2 game ticks in the opening, so it doesn't just retract this front piston here, so that it can actually get pushed down, because this here turns off instantly, right? And next up, observer here into a block, one more block here, and then a repeater on 4 game ticks with a hopper with dust, and then an observer here. Alright, so that gives us this, which is the entire closing. Alright, next up we need to work on the opening here. So what we want to happen is these 2 pistons need to zero tick instantly, and then this piston needs to move this piston from here to here as well. So let's just actually remove these blocks. Alright, so let's get to the instant zero tick then. So a block here with dust, that's our input, and now to connect it up, we place a slab here. Let's do it like so. Slab here, slab up, 2 blocks like so, dust like this. So right now it powers that, so we will need to redirect this, which we're going to do with a tripwire hook. Now just update this. And now I'll just place a block here to cut this. And yeah, that's already the instant zero tick done. And well, I mean the back instant zero tick here. We still need the one for these 2. So we are going to uncut this and then just have block event delay coming from the left. Like so. 2 piston resting blocks, so we have 1, 2, 3 bed. That's all we need. And then just a block of dust. Alright, now one thing is, this is like way too early right now, because this is also going to go into this repeater here, which keeps the dust on, and this will make the piston here do a 3 game tick pulse. So yeah, we need to somehow delay this, and the way we are going to do this is by having obsidian here, placing it 1 block lower, piston here, and observer here. So we'll just push this up a little bit later, so that everything works out, basically. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Closing does this, and now we should see that the piston here gets placed here instantly as a 3 game tick pulse. Yeah, just like this. And we also have a timing here, and we already have this, and the back piston. So how do we already have all these pulses? Well, the back piston comes from this here. This retracts as 6 game ticks. It's a perfect timing here. So the piston will lose your seat, but the singles here will update it. And then the back piston here and the fold come from this here. So this turns off at 12, which is a perfect timing. So yeah, this basically means all we need now is the zero tick for the final retraction here to write the block from here to here, and that's almost it. So let's get that in. Now that's actually pretty cool how that part works. So now we're actually going to use the log for something, which is some odd game tick delay. So leave here. Actually, before we do that, we should probably power this piston here, because it actually needs to push over the blocks. So yeah, we are just going to spam observers. So from this one with a glass pane, so this powers at 4, 6, 8, 10, and then the final one 12, like so. And replace this. Now you might wonder, this actually powers the front piston here, but it doesn't matter because at that time it powers its retracting. So yeah, now we can get the final retraction in here. So we are going to have 2 observers like this, a repeater on 2 game ticks and one on 4 game ticks, like so. So we have 1 game tick here, we have 3, we have 5, we have 9, which means this turns off at 15. Now to actually get the pulse here, we are going to have a piston with a block, and then a slab here, has to be a slab by the way, or glass, so that this piston doesn't get powered from here. Then repeater on 8 game ticks. Alright, and that should be the triplet assembler done. And these 2 pistons as well. Alright, so all we need now is the final retraction for these 2 here. And yeah, this is a bit scuffed, but it works. So toggle block here, and then 2 sticky pistons and an observer here. Alright, and that should be the entire top. Now this just got pushed down here, so what we can do is just place an observer here. Alright. Yeah, and that's the top done. Now I can move on to the bottom. Alright, so let's first fix everything here. So put the glass block and glass out floor. Right, so first step, we need to push up this piston by powering this. We'll just use a lamp and an observer. This will give us the correct timing for the bottom piston as well during the opening. Next step, this needs to push over. And yeah, the normal piston here already gets powered from this, but it's too late. Instead, we're going to power it from this as well. So that's this. And we need the timing so that this piston doesn't grab down this piston here. Alright, next up we need to push the piston from here to here, and then we need to push up the blocks like so, insert this and push up one more time. So yeah, let's get to that. Alright, so for that piston down here, we're just going to use an observer here, and that's it. Now for the piston that's going to push up this block, we are going to place an observer with this piston here. So observer, block, and then repeater on 2 game ticks, like so. It's going to power this block, and then we are going to push away that observer with this normal piston here to zero tick the piston to push up. So yeah, and now we're going to use the circuit that also does most of the opening, so we can use it for 2 things at once, which is pretty nice. So yeah, obsidian here or any other immovable block, target block here with dust on top, like so, and then 2 pistons like so, and a sticky piston right here. Alright, so this is 0 ticked. Now all we need to do is power this piston to push in, and then power this piston one more time to push up. Right. So conveniently this powers, so all we need to do to power that piston is place this block. Powers at the same time as this piston here, but since we have the obsidian here, it doesn't matter. And instead this side will actually up with this to go in. And then for this piston, all we need to do is place an observer pointing up in front of this sticky piston, and then one more block here. This should be the entire closing done, like so. Alright, and now if I simply place one more piston, we also have most of the opening as well. So remove this, place a piston here, and replace it. Yeah, and now we already have this. So what's going on? Well, let me just close it again. Okay, this wasn't reset right now, but the full opening will fix that. Anyways, we connected this piston to our side slider here, which powers from 2 to 3 game ticks, so this is piston done. And then we have 1, 2, 3 additional block event delay to power this middle piston, so we got the chain. Then this piston here powers from 4 to 6, and it gets placed at 6, right? Now this actually means that we need an update for the normal piston, which pushes over but you know, the sticky piston below here actually updates it, so that's really nice. And then this here places the block at 6, turns on at 8, which means immediately when this arrives here will power. And then this retracts the observer again from this here for the 9 game tick retraction. So all we need now is 12 game tick here and 15 game ticks here, and that's it. Alright, and we can also kind of combine those two circuits into one. So we need to break this for a second and place a dropper here, hopper here. Now we can replace that like so. Put an item in the dropper, and then a block here. Remove this for a second and place a comparator. And that is going to give us a 7 game tick pulse from the dropper hopper monostable. And this is going to go into this piston redstone block. And this, yeah, powers from 8 to 15, which means this powers from 11 to 15. And since we have some block event 11 that turns off, we get the final retraction from this observer here. And it will be retracted back here. So that's ready for the closing. So now all we need is to get the 12 game tick here. And yeah, that's also not that bad. All we need is this here, then a dropper facing up, composter on top, and then an item in the dropper to silence it. Now, why do we have this weird setup here? So basically, this pushes away at 6 game ticks, I think. No, actually at 8 game ticks, which means when we have an observer coming out of the dropper, this powers from 10 to 12, which is the perfect timing. Now this returns though at 15, repowers this like super late, right, at 17, so it will power again at 19. So yeah, we can't have that, so instead we bridge the gap kinda with this, which just keeps it on, you know. So nothing's going to happen when this redstone block arrives back, and we get only 1 pulse. Now this already does the opening, but we need to somehow toggle this for the closing. And yeah, we are just going to block this piston here, and placing a normal piston here, and then 3 blocks here, and that's it. Alright, so since this can't move, this stays powered, and even though this turns on, nothing happens here because it's already on. And now on the opening, you should get the entire opening, yes, entire door. Alright, now we can fill in everything, and that should be it. Alright, so let's just fill in the rest. Right, give it one more final test, but everything should be fine. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video and the door. And yeah, I hope you learned something, maybe some useful tricks. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching.